Hello, fibrologists. It's Tony from the Fibrology Lab, and today is Friday with Friends. I'm excited to be here with another Friday friend to engage with them and talk to them a little bit. I'm going to talk to Miss Deb Miller, who is the Project Linus coordinator of East Tennessee. She's a really good friend. We've known each other for about 7 years and we've worked well together. But I'm going to give it a minute or two and let those algorithms work in YouTube and in Facebook to let everyone know we're on. If you don't mind, come on in, say hi and where you're from so I can give you a shout out. Good morning, Miss Connie. Good to see you this morning. I hope you're doing well. Now, if you have any questions that might pertain about Project Linus, Deb will probably answer them, but go ahead and pop them in the comments as well, because we'll read those comments and make sure we address your questions as we go through things. Good morning, Georgina and Jackie from Indiana. Thank you so much for joining. I'm a little out of practice. I haven't done this in a couple of weeks, so I'm just excited to have Deb say yes, that she would do it. She happened to be free, and we're excited to talk about Project Linus, about some fun things, because we have been friends for a bit. So we even have matching T-shirts. Fun friends with matching T-shirts, and they're not just Project Linus T-shirts. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her over. If you come on in, keep saying hi and where you're from. That way I can engage with you as well and shout out. So here is Miss Deb Miller. Now I'm going to tell you guys straight up, her sound is perfect. Sometimes the video is a little choppy, but that's okay. We just want to hear the important information she's going to share. Hello, Miss Deb. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. Or is it? Well, it's lunchtime here on the East Coast.
But it's afternoon.
That's right. It's after 12. So I have questions. I could talk to Deb forever, but I'm going to try to stay on topic and give her questions. So Deb and I met when I owned my first shop, Atomic Fibers, to help work with Project Linus. But let's get into Deb's head. What exactly does Deb like to do? Deb, you are a crocheter and a sewer. How long have you been crocheting and sewing?
Since I was about 6 years old. My grandmother liked to do both, and so I spent a lot of time with her growing up, and so she taught me.
Oh, that was nice. So you've been doing it a long time.
Yeah, my mom's a knitter. I never liked to knit, so I crocheted with Grandma and learned to sew with Grandma.
Oh, that's awesome. Then who taught your mom how to knit?
She doesn't really remember. She remembers one of the first things that she made were socks for my dad when they were graduating from high school.
Oh. So, that's a challenge.
That was like in 1950.
Wow, that's so funny. That's awesome. What is your favorite quilting technique? What do you enjoy to do the most?
I like Tony knows. I like simple stuff. I like to be able to just sit down and whip out a quilt top, do a quilt as you go, kind of quilt. Sometimes for Project Linus, sometimes for the great grandkids, sometimes for here at the house.
Yep, you've been doing a lot of sewing for the house, putting up things for covering windows and stuff the last year or so.
I just did matching valance and table toppers and a quilt and pillowcases for our guest room.
Oh yeah, the dragonfly ones. Oh yeah. If you guys don't know, we have a Facebook group called the Fibrology Lab Collective, and Deb has been posting her gorgeous pictures there of her, not just of her house, but of her valances and table running. Check them out; they're really pretty, especially that dragonfly fabric. Are you currently working on a project right now?
I just finished a Project Linus baby blanket. I was wanting to try the ombre yarn that Red Heart had come out with, and wasn't real wild about the feel of the yarn, but the look of it is really nice to make just a corner-to-corner ombre blanket. And I actually washed it in Woolite, and it softened up quite a bit, so I'm a little happier with it now. Okay. And then I'm working on another Afghan that has dragonflies in it and matches the room for the guest room for my dragonfly theme.
Did you post that one in the Fibrology Lab Collective?
I'm not sure. I will though.
It's beautiful. It's really cool. I love the design of the dragonflies and the crochet. It's really neat.
Yeah, and it was real simple. It was It was one of those free patterns, but when you got it, it was so complicated getting through all the ads. You were finally ready to pay the $5 to get the download, so you didn't have to put up with all the ads around it.
Don't waste 20 pages of paper
Right.
to print it out. So, when did you become and why did you become a coordinator for Project Linus?
Well, I started with Project Linus in 1998. Read an article in the local paper here about our local chapter, and was working full time. And the thing I liked about it as somebody working is that you could do as little or as much as you wanted to. There were meetings, but you didn't have to go if you didn't want to go. It was very flexible in your time commitment. And the woman that was running it was ready to call it quits on her chapter. She was having a lot of family issues. And so in April of 2003, I agreed to take over the chapter. And we actually kind of restarted the chapter because the original one was just called Knoxville, and we restarted it as a East Tennessee chapter.
So really, it's a really large chapter, taking from Knoxville over to the east side of the state.
Yeah, it's not quite all the way to the east side. It's kind of out towards Sevierville, Morristown. It's Knox County. Every county that touches Knox County, plus a few other counties, Scott and Cumberland and Campbell and a few of those.
Well, that's neat. So there is another coordinator then going further east, is what you're saying?
There's a very small chapter up in the very far northeast corner of the state. That's a fairly new chapter.
Oh, good. That's exciting.
Yeah.
New chapters are exciting. That means less work for you. Good morning, right. Jan. Good morning, Jan and Jody. We're just here talking to Deb about Project Linus, and we're just getting into the meat. Well, let's start with the basics. If you are local to East Tennessee, what is the best way for people to contact you regarding Project Linus? Do you have that information?
Yep, there's my email.
Let's see if it works. There it goes. Let me make you a one screen so that way people. Oops, not me. There you go. That's your email, Deb at projectlinuseasttn.org. Perfect. So if they want to reach you and ask you any questions regarding Project Linus, that's how you're going to email and contact her. Now, you also have a Facebook page.
Right. You can just search for Project Linus East Tennessee. Perfect. And it'll pop up. And then we've got at the top is our national website, and then below that is our local website.
Oh, perfect. Perfect. That was my next question. So projectlinus.org is the national website. So if you're not from East Tennessee and you're joining us, thank you. And you can always support your local chapter and find it there at projectlinus.org. Or if you're local, you can go projectlinuseasttn.org for Deb's chapter.
Right. And so if you go to the national chapter, there's a link that just says find a chapter, and you link on it and you pick your state off the map, and it'll give you all the chapters in your state and usually what main cities and counties each chapter covers.
Cool. Very cool. Yeah, I found our local chapter here is for Volusia County here in Florida, but there's several chapters in Florida too. So make sure you check that out and find out what is closest to you. Awesome. So right now you've got a new challenge. We've done this 3 years in a row. You want to talk a little bit about the Vroom challenge?
Sure. What we do every year is we come up with a challenge to encourage people to make a quilt that hopefully they'll donate to Project Linus, but you don't have to. And it's $20 for the kit, or $30 if you're needed to have it mailed to you. If you're here local in East Tennessee, you can go to the Twisted Sisters Quilt Shop, and they've got them right there in the store. Or if you're at one of our events, I'll have them with me also. And we pick a theme every year, and usually it's from the majority of the fabric is fabric that's been donated over the year, and we just kind of start to put it together into different challenge packages. This year we had a wonderful donation from a woman that was closing out an Etsy business, and most of it is very high quality quilting fabric. And our theme with Vroom allowed us to kind of do anything with wheels. So we've got a kind of a fire truck theme kit, and then you get some of the coordinating fabric to go with it. Nice. And there's a couple other small pieces to go with it. There's some NASCAR ones. There's some semi truck ones. There's quite a few of these ones, and it's not Bob the Builder, but it's real similar to Bob the Builder kind of fabric.
It reminds me of Cars, the movie.
Yeah, you're right. That's kind of what it is.
Yeah, really fun stuff.
Yeah.
And how many? You said an approximately 2 yards of fabric in each of the kits.
There is. I have to read it because I've already forgotten. And it'll contain at least a half yard of the Vroom fabric of whatever the theme is, and usually there's more than that. And at least another yard of coordinating fabrics, and again, usually there's more than that.
So that's for that donation. What's the goal of them to do this challenge?
So the goal is that, like I said, if you want to donate the blanket, we encourage you to, and then we will have an online voting for the quilts that are donated, and the winner will receive a jelly roll basket. And then, depending on how many donations we get of blankets, then we'll give out a second, third, maybe fourth prize, also. And the jelly roll basket's really coming together nicely. We've got some nice jelly rolls and some nice fat quarters and layer cakes that are going to go in the basket. It will be worth over $100
easily. Most jelly rolls are anywhere from a half jelly roll is $25 nowadays. So yeah,
right,
that's gonna build up fast. That's exciting. And when do they have to have those quilts into you by? Is that the 1st of October?
I think so, but let me look here.
It's there somewhere.
It's there. We'll find it. We'll come back to that. October 1. October 1.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought it's the 1st of October, and then voting will be in November.
Right.
Once you get all situated. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So that's exciting. So this is your 3rd time doing this.
Right.
This is really fun. Last year was Under the Water. What was the thing? I said it wrong.
I forget already. Under the Water, I think it was.
Yeah, and then the one before that was Raining Cats and Dogs.
Yeah.
That one was fun. I love that one. That was a lot of fun. So, well, let's talk a little bit about a heavy topic right now. Just because I think it needs to be, kind of stress and help you guys out. You guys are collecting. Project Linus is collecting 4,300 blankets for Texas. So you want to talk about how that is working out right now and what you might need or what other people can do to support that effort.
Sure. One of the things that we feel real strong about at Project Linus is that we don't respond like too quickly when there's a disaster, because what happens so many times is organizations that are working with who's ever impacted by the disaster, they end up with way too much stuff they don't know what to do with, and then stuff just goes to waste and unfortunately sometimes gets thrown out. So what we did with the Uvalde, Texas shootings is we reached out to the school system and to the counseling services that they have hired and talked through with them, how can we best help? How can we take our mission of helping to make children feel more secure to the children in Uvalde? And what was decided is that we will provide a blanket to each child in the school system, K through 12, and that's 4,300 kids on their first day of school when they return back to school in August. And they have a number of different things that they're planning to work with those kids, to help identify ones that might need additional services and help provide them the security of returning to school after a very horrible end of their school year this past year. And then at the same time, we're also going to provide 800 blankets to the teachers and staff that are working with those kids. And the blankets that are going to the kids need to be at least 40 inches by 40, or it doesn't have to be square, but at least 40 by 40, and preferably larger because again we'll be serving junior high and high school kids also. And the ones going to the adults need to be 60 inches or larger. Um, and we're encouraging child, friendly, bright colors. Obviously, for these blankets, we're avoiding camo and anything that might reflect the military and guns and things like that. So we're going through the blankets very carefully. And the way Project Linus does this is each chapter makes a commitment for how many blankets they will send. And our chapter is going to send 200 blankets for the kids and 20 blankets for the adults. And and we have to raise funds to do that. So besides making the quilts, we also are looking for funds, and of course other chapters. And if you connect with your local chapter, they very well might be looking for funds also to help with those shipping costs because shipping is very expensive.
Right,
And
especially
yeah, it and I'm still trying to figure out quite how we're going to make all of this shipping take place at the end of July and early August. So, um, but so if you're interested in supporting it, of course, our chapter needs blankets, and you're welcome to send them to our chapter, and you're welcome to reach out to your local chapter, see if they have a need. Not
right.
every chapter committed to sending, or some just kind of got in the game a little too late, and the commitments were already met, and so they didn't have the opportunity to commit. And then, of course, you're welcome to also make a financial donation to our local East Tennessee chapter, or to find out the need for your local chapter in your area.
Right. And you said you already got 75 blankets. You're
Yeah.
almost halfway through your goal. That's awesome.
Yeah, I kind of went through what we already had in stock and, pulled out the ones that I thought were appropriate and have those stacked up and waiting to go. But we have a couple real large needs. I mean, we provide to a lot of different organizations, but for blankets that are a little bit bigger, we provide to a couple organizations that, and so we're always looking for bigger blankets. One of the other groups that we do, and a lot of other chapters around the United States do, is a group called Sleep in Heavenly Peace. And Tony's been real familiar with them. Her shop here in East Tennessee helps support them. They build beds for kids that don't have beds, and then we provide blankets and pillowcases to go on those beds. And then they have a lot of the corporate groups and like business organizations give them funds for mattresses and sheets and things like that. And it's a great group to support. We really like to support them.
Well, that's kind of a cool thing that you just brought up, and my mind just went into another direction. You, as Project Linus coordinator for East Tennessee, you also support other charities in the area instead of just donating fabric or quilts to hospitals and police services and things. You're also working with other organizations that are doing charitable works as well.
Right. We have one of the missions I took on when I started as coordinator was to serve our child advocacy centers, and all states have these in some form or fashion. And these are the groups that serve children that have been abused, often sexually abused. And what they do is they bring all the services into a child-friendly facility. So when a child is in that situation, the police come there to interview them. The lawyers come there to interview them. They get their counseling there. They can be in support groups with other kids there, instead of them having to hop around to all these very adult kinds of buildings and places to go. They get all the services there, and we provide blankets to all the child advocacy centers in our area.
That's really cool. Because I think Project Linus, well, it's a great organization. People think of it as giving blankets to kids in hospitals, and it really is so much more.
Right. We do that, but we do a lot more.
Yeah, and I don't think people realize that. And I know you're very active with the local, with the East Tennessee, a lot of the charities there that you help out all sorts of different situations.
Right. So and then one of the other big things we do is we support our military families.
Right.
And nationally, Project Linus has two big things they support. One is called Snowball Express, and it's coming up, and it's through the Gary Sinise Foundation. Many of you are familiar with Gary. and he provides an opportunity for families that have lost a loved one to come to Disney World every year. It's usually about 2, 3 weeks before Christmas, and it's really just to have a good time, get away with their family, be with other kids that have been through what they have, losing a loved one, serving our country. And then we all the chapters again chip in and we provide blankets for those kids. Some of them want the patriotic blankets.
Hmm.
Many of them want the Marines and the Army and the camo and the pink camo and those kind of blankets. And then some just want the cars and the paws and all those kind of things. Yeah, Paw Patrol. Thank you. And kind of thing. So we provide to them, and then we do another organization called TAPS, which is in at Memorial Day. We just finished doing that, where blankets are provided to each child that takes part in their activities, which is in DC over the Memorial Day weekend, where families come in and they serve a little bit older kids. They don't serve kids till they're about 7, and then up through teenagers, where they learn more about service to country, why their loved one, you know, decided to join the military and then unfortunately ended up losing their life in service to our country. And again, blankets are a part of that, and they each pick out a blanket that they want to keep and have to take home with them.
That's just great organization, Deb. I'm not trying to be emotional, but I'm so grateful for who you are in your heart to manage all this. This is a lot of work. And then it's the other thing I don't think people really understand. You're running I hate to say business, but that's basically what you're doing. You keep books, you're connecting with all these different organizations and people. It's just amazing. And I appreciate it because I
Thank
don't
you.
have time. We've talked about, or I could be the coordinator. No, I can't. That's your job. I'm all for you doing it. So,
But again, as a volunteer, that's the neat thing about this organization, I think, because you can give as little or as much time as you have. Some people have that half hour in the evening they can sit down and crochet,
right,
and that's relaxing for them, and it's a great way for them to give back. Other people go on retreats and spend lots of time, and for a lot of our older women, particularly, that maybe throughout their whole life they gave to the community, but now they're in a situation where maybe they're homebound or in a facility somewhere. This is a way they can keep giving,
right.
and it really does a lot for their quality of life. Besides the fact of the child that's receiving the blanket.
Very true. Very true. Awesome. So, I still go back to my list of questions. I hear you're going on a national retreat here soon.
I am Monday,
Oh my
and
gosh, is it that soon?
yeah, yeah,
Where's the
and
month gone?
yeah, we have a national retreat usually every other year, but we're now at 3 years, I think, because of COVID, that we haven't had one, and it's a chance for coordinators and some of the lead volunteers to get together, learn about some of the new things that's going on with Project Linus, see some of the new promotion materials and things like that might be coming out.
Mhm.
Have some speakers about making some different kinds of blankets, and have a good time. I mean, we're spending one day going to Missouri Star, so
Cool.
uh, we uh, and it's a break because it can be an emotional toll on you too.
Right,
Particularly when I mean, you can imagine that coordinator down in Texas and what she's going through,
right.
and she knows these families, and we had a school shooting here in our area many years ago, and I'm working with a woman whose sister was in the office when the school shooting happened, in the school office, and it's rough when you're dealing with that, where and you're having to just keep the wheels going and keep the blankets going, and
Yeah,
try not to get too emotional.
right. Yeah, it's a tough job, but we're great. I'm grateful that you've stepped up into it. Excuse me. So let's thank you so much for all the information on Project Linus. And if anybody has continuing questions, you can always email Deb at projectlinuseastn.org. But let's talk a little bit about you again. So what else do you enjoy doing besides Project Linus, sewing and crocheting?
Well, I'm a dog lover, first of
Oh,
all, and two of them are sitting here at my feet. And it was the only way I could be sure they'd be quiet through this. And um, And I have a boat. I have a 24-foot pontoon boat, and we live on a Watts Bar Lake, which is one of the big TVA lakes in Tennessee. And so spend a lot of time on the boat um, with my boyfriend John and I. And it's, sometimes we go down and just sit and have a glass of wine in the evening. Sometimes we take the boat out and spend the whole afternoon out there, or go across the lake to one of the marinas for breakfast or something like that. We really enjoy it.
That's really cool. I
So
think that would be fun. Just hey, let's go across the lake and get breakfast. I just think
yeah,
that'd be so cool.
yeah.
I'm gonna do that one day. One day. What else do I have? Oh, where's your favorite place to vacation? What would be your favorite place to go on vacation?
I'm I'm not a history buff, go to museums kind of person. I want to go somewhere where I can relax, and so a cruise,
Oh yeah,
an all inclusive to the Caribbean, something like that is my favorite kind of vacation. We're doing an Alaska cruise here in the middle of August, hopefully. They're starting to cancel some of them, so we're keeping our fingers crossed. But and that'll be kind of different because that's going to be kind of a cool weather cruise versus a warm weather cruise. Um, but looking forward to that. And so we try to do one thing like that a year.
that's
Where
fun.
we get away and do that.
Cruising. I've loved. I can't wait to get everything situated here so we can start cruising here. Just go
Yeah,
down
and
to the port.
you can pick up the late deals because you're
Yep,
close to the ports.
that's my plan. That's my plan. So, just to wrap it up, what is one weird or unique thing about you that nobody might not know? So, like me, I wouldn't know, or maybe I do know.
I don't know.
Oh,
And most people think I must have children because I'm so involved with Project Linus.
oh, that's good.
I don't have any children of my own. I have two wonderful stepdaughters from my marriage. My husband passed away about 14 years ago now, and through them I have five wonderful grandsons and 16 great grandkids. And
Wow,
so um, it, but a lot of people think I must have kids, and I don't.
that's interesting. I never assume anything. So, I guess so because we work with Project Linus, but I would never assume that. That's kind of interesting. You don't think of what people think about other people. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm just naive. So, does anybody have any questions? I see we still have quite a few people live that are watching. If you have any questions, just go ahead and pop them into the comments and we'll respond. I see our good friends TC and Judy are on. Hello, Miss Lee and Janice and Tony as well. I didn't get to say hello when you guys came on, but TC, we hope you are feeling better and slowly healing. So, we'll be in touch. Um, do you have anything else you would like to add, Deb? Now, tomorrow, why don't you talk about your sewing day that you're doing tomorrow? Is it too late
Okay.
for people to sign up?
No, no, we do a sewing day about every month or every other month, somewhere here in the area. The one tomorrow is at Faith Harvest Church, which is the address is Lenore City, but it's kind of right on the Loudoun County, Roane County line out by Wamplers, and all the information's on our Facebook and our website. It'll be from 9 to 3, and you can just show up. We'll put you to work sewing labels on blankets, or you can bring your machine and we'll have fabric there for you to work on a quilt top, or you can bring something you want to work on. We'll have lots of fleece. If you've want to learn some different ways to either finish fleece by machine or learn to crochet around fleece, we'll have that available there also. So we'll welcome you to stop by.
And you'll have the Vroom kits too on hand. And
Yes.
if you guys aren't aware, we do have them in our app and our website as well. But if you're local to the area, Twisted Sister has them on hand. But tomorrow at the sewing day, she'll have them available as well. TC wants to say, can you talk a little bit more about Sleep and Heavenly Peace and their group?
Okay.
Like, yeah, just start for the basics.
Okay. Yeah. It's kind of an interesting group. It's I guess because it's building, it's mostly men, but a lot of their spouses and significant others support them. But they get donations, financial and just wood and things like that. And they have this whole outfit, and somebody can, a church, a Rotary, somebody like that will sponsor them to come in and say, you can use our parking lot, you can use our warehouse, whatever it might be. And then they work with the local agencies that would know about kids that don't have beds and are sleeping on the floor or a couch or kind of thing. And they volunteers sign up and show up, and I mean, you get there at 9 in the morning and they've got it all laid out they give you all your tools you need, your eye cover and everything, and show you how to use the equipment, and you build bunk beds. And I mean, and they're done when they leave there that day. And it'll usually run about 4 hours, and they then take them over that next week or two. They actually deliver them to the families that need the bunk beds. And like I said earlier, they get donations, and they have so they buy the mattresses and the sheets and stuff, and then and sometimes they'll buy the bedspreads and things like that. And we provide bedspreads or blankets depending on what we have, and then we always provide a child-friendly pillowcase to go with it also.
So that's like another thing, you do take donated pillowcases too as well.
Right. And we have a number of organizations that like to have that. If they are serving, I mean, like if kids are removed from their home in the middle of the night from children's services, besides giving them a blanket, giving them a pillowcase, which they'll often use to put their stuff in that they're going to take with them, and then they have the pillowcase to use, because many times they'll end up in some kind of facility for a day or two before they get placed into foster care.
Right. And only that's the only thing they have to remember it by too. So
right.
And Sleep in Heavenly Peace is a national program. They're in all the states, right? Or most of the states.
Most of the states, yeah.
They're still growing. Okay. So I want to wrap it up, but I would like to, if you're okay with it, share a story or two of somebody receiving a Project Linus quilt or blanket that really touched one. Because I'm sure you have hundreds, because the chapter's been around for what, 11 years to 20 years.
No, we're now at 19.
19. I knew that. April's your anniversary. Yep.
Yeah.
So,
and we've just passed the 40,000 blanket mark.
Wow.
So
awesome. That's mind blowing.
Yeah. So
can you think of a good story to share?
Yeah. I mean, one that just always kind of touches me, and it is. I pulled into CVS in Oliver Springs, Tennessee one day, and went in and got what I needed and came out. And there was a kind of a rickety old car sitting next to me, and this guy is motioning at me to roll the window down. And I was a little hesitant, and so I rolled it a little bit, and he's like, are you with Project Linus? Because I had my sticker on the back of the car. And I said, yes. And he said, well, then he proceeded to tell me that his son had gotten a Project Linus blanket. And he said he got it. He said, it's been 3 or 4 years ago. And I said, well, that's nice. I hope he's doing better, not knowing why he got the blanket.
Mm-hmm.
And the next thing I see is the back window roll down, and the little boy look out, and he's about 7, 8 years old, and he's holding his blanket.
Ah.
And then the man said, it goes with him everywhere. And he said, it's everything we can do to get it away from him, and then he proceeded to tell me that he had been at Children's Hospital and had to have some pretty serious surgery after an accident. And he picked the blanket out when the volunteer came in the room, and he's had it ever since.
Oh,
so
that's neat. Just like in the middle of your day, and that's really cool. That's a great story. So that's great. Well, thanks so much for sharing. It looks like there's can you see the comments? Again, no. I always try to figure out how this works. You don't see comments?
Nope.
That's really weird. But Jill's on, and she says 40,000. Yes. And TC says thank you to everybody that donates. So, but Deb, thank you so much for spending some time with us this afternoon. And just
now I can see the comments, by the way.
Oh, oops. It's a learning curve, but
yeah.
But now we know, because we can do it again another time. So, but I don't think you can respond. Like I think I told you that before.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
No, but at least you can read them, and you can talk to them out loud to everybody.
And one last thing, as I sit here and pull the comments up and look and see TC on there, and Jill and Judy,
Mm-hmm.
Something like this doesn't happen with one person. It
Right.
it is many, many people. And people ask me how many volunteers I have, and I say, I don't know, because there's people out there that just, I mean, guys that I worked with that they'll take the blankets up because they live 50 miles away, and they'll deliver them for me up in Scott County. And TC picks up at Twisted Sisters and brings them to Oak Ridge to keep me from having to make the trip to Maryville, which would cost a lot these days with gas. And
Right.
Jill is one of these people that always comes up with these creative ideas for different ways that we might want to do a fundraiser or do something fun to get people more involved in making blankets for Project Linus. And there's hundreds of people out there that do that kind of thing. And so like I said, as I looked at these names on here, those popped out right away of the kinds of things that all the volunteers do.
Right. And I think it's great because it allows us another volunteers to give back in some way, whether it's driving a car, donating fabric or money. You just the opportunities there, so we're grateful for that too. But all right, do you have anything else you want to wrap up before we say goodbye?
I'm done. Thank you,
Oh,
everybody.
thank you so much, Deb. I really appreciate your time this afternoon again. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. And again, if you have any more questions, you can email Deb directly at Deb@Project Linus of EastTN.org. Or
just Project Linus East
oh,
TN.
okay. Thank you.
.org.
Should have told you hold up your yellow sign, but
Yep.
that's all right. You guys have a great Friday, a great weekend. Thank you again for joining us for Fridays with Friends. And we'll be back next week. I just don't know who the friend's going to be. Look, there it is. There, she's got it. So if you need to wrong person. If you need to reach out, there's her information. So you all have a great weekend. Thank you again for joining. And remember, we are friends, fibers, and fun.